Totally open-minded. Tommy Nation Politics.
Hi, I'm Eric Cutts, Software Development Manager at Amazon. I'm here today to talk to you about leadership principles and how we interview for them. Leadership principles at Amazon are used to guide the business in almost every way. We use them during career growth discussions, making hiring decisions, or just day-to-day business decisions. You'll know when you're being asked a leadership principle question when you hear, "Tell me about a time when." For example, tell me about a time when you had to make a decision between two different technology choices. When answering behavioral questions, I like to think about SBI. SBI is situation, behavior, impact. Situation, what was the situation? What was it that your team was trying to achieve? Behavior, what was it that you did? What was your plan of action? And impact, what was the outcome? When talking about impact, you really want to measure it with data. For example, how many customers did you impact? Or what was the dollar value in business? Let's jump right into it. So we're just going to walk through a sample behavioral question. I'm going to play the interviewer, and Erica is going to play the interviewee. So let's get right into it. Erica, so tell me about a time when you had to make a decision at work, but you didn't have all the data available.
Yeah, well, my team had a big ops issue a few months back where there was an outage and customers weren't getting some of the orders that they needed. And so we made the call to rollback.
Okay, how did you make that decision? What was it based on?
Well, we knew stuff was going wrong, so we just know that if a customer's not getting what they need, well, you just got to roll the feature back that we deployed.
Okay, so this is an example of an incomplete answer, and you can kind of see that we didn't quantify the impact. It wasn't really clear specifically what Erica did, and so we're just going to walk through it again, and we're going to tighten it up a little bit. So Erica, tell me about a time that you had to make a decision at work, but you didn't have all the data available that you'd like.
Yeah, my team had a big outage a few months back, and we knew that there had been an issue because I received an alarm. I was on call, and so I responded to the alarm, started looking at some of our dashboards, and saw that there was a big drop in our order count. That usually signifies that something's gone pretty south for the customer, but the problem is I didn't have enough time to figure out what had gone wrong at a root cause level.
So how did you move forward from that? It seems like you didn't have all the data that you'd like. So what happened next? What did you do?
Well, I knew that I couldn't solve this just by myself because our system's quite large. And so I set up a conference call with several of the other engineers in the team and started a divide and conquer process and nominated a bunch of folks to start looking into different aspects of the system and start triaging.
I see. So after the investigation, what was the next step? What did you do?
Well, once we hit about hour 4, even though we didn't know the exact impact on the customer, I knew that it was too risky to continue leaving this feature live in production, and so I made the call to do a rollback.
How did you know that this was so important that you wanted to do a rollback and just not continue on with that investigation further?
Well, there's a point of diminishing returns with an investigation like this, and given the fact that this is a feature that any customer on Amazon can use, you'd never want to have sustained customer impact like this, and we'd already gotten a couple of customer service calls, and so once you have a couple of confirmed customer service cases, it's kind of a good best practice to do a rollback and then allow for time to go and do the root cause analysis.
I see. And then so what was
is ticking for millions of Americans who've gotten behind on their rent payments during the pandemic. The federal moratorium on evictions is set to expire June 30th, and it's facing new legal challenges in court. The government is now racing to allocate more than $40 billion in emergency rental assistance to those in need as landlords try to keep their businesses afloat as well. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has this story.
You okay?
Before the pandemic, single mother of 2 Tania Rogers says she had never missed a rent payment.
What happened with your work when the pandemic hit?
So when the pandemic hit, my job was essentially cut short, and I was told that we had to stay home as the rest of, pretty much the rest of the world.
Roger's paychecks from her job at a school in Washington, D.C. stopped coming, but the rent checks kept piling up.
February is kind of when I hit real rock bottom, where I didn't have any money anymore, no reserves, no anything.
So you're about $6,000 behind on rent right now. How does that feel?
It doesn't feel good. I mean, I'll be real, it doesn't feel good.
With her 7-year-old and 2-year-old boys still out of school, Rogers drives for Uber Eats to try to pay the bills, bringing the kids along for the ride.
You have to get out your car to give the order to someone. My kids are in the car by themselves. I'm going to be looked at as being neglectful, and that's not right. You know, what other choices do I have? If I don't do Uber Eats, we don't have anything. You know, we don't have money. I can't get groceries and whatnot. I can't pay the rent. You know, the situation's already that I can't pay the rent.
Rogers is one of more than 8 million Americans currently behind on rent and facing the risk of eviction.
Just for comparison, it's about twice as many homeowners that lost their homes during the foreclosure crisis.
Twice as many homeowners who actually did lose their homes during the financial crisis are now facing the threat of eviction today.